Happy Tuesday, my friends, and happy Super Bowl week. As we are here to break down the biggest game of them all, Super Bowl 59 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, a rematch of a Super Bowl we saw just 2 years ago, which was an absolute barn burner of a game. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huffman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. And in the middle is from the Daily Blitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson, here to break down all the major stuff going on with the Super Bowl, stuff we're going to talk about as we got Super Bowl 59 on the mind. As we only got a couple more days now before we get that game. Hello, gentlemen. Happy Tuesday. How are you guys? And how hyped are you for this particular Super Bowl?
No, I'm hanging in there. And you?
I'm fired up, man. Now I got the Royal Rumble in my rearview mirror. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it should be a fun one.
TJ?
Let's get to it. Shit.
Let's get right into it. Let's break down some numbers real quick because we do enjoy some numbers. These teams are fairly evenly matched. Actually, so I was going through the numbers. These teams are better on defense this year, but worse on offense than when they met 2 years ago. Kansas City 15-2, Philadelphia 14-3. 5,500 total yards of offense, 37 passing, 3,100 for the Eagles, 6,200. Any of these numbers, looking at the screen there, any of these numbers jump out at you before we get into each individual position and breaking that stuff down? Obviously, Andy Reid is the head coach, Nick Sirianni on the Eagles side.
I wish I could read it a little bit better.
Put your glasses on, boy.
They are on, motherfucker. That's the thing.
Then clean them.
They are clean.
When these two teams met up 2 years ago, the Philadelphia Eagles were the worst offensive team. The Chiefs were a better offensive team by far 2 years ago. That's not the case anymore. The Philadelphia Eagles have a really good offense that's dominated by a really strong rushing attack. You'll see the numbers there. It's almost a 2-to-1 difference in terms of rushing yards between these two teams.
Yeah, I think the thing that surprises me is the passing yards for the Philadelphia Eagles. Over 3,000 passing yards. But that's the thing. Jalen Hurts really didn't have to take games over with his arm this year like he did that year they came out the NFC a couple years ago.
Let's also not forget that he missed most of 2 games. So
yeah,
not that it would have mattered. I don't think all that much. I mean, I don't think the numbers would have changed all that much.
Yeah, and I think the thing that stands out to me with Kansas City is in each of their Super Bowls, they've been a different team. You look at the first time they won when they beat San Francisco for the 2019 Super Bowl. They were more of an explosive offense. They wanted to take a shot down the field, take the top off zone or off the coverage. Had Tyreek Hill. Second one, it's more of a short to intermediate passing game. Last year, they run the football, rely on defense. This year, they're running the football again and playing a stingy defense. And they're going to have their hands, and they're going to have their work cut out for them. Because, they've been one of the best when it comes to stopping the run. But they're going up against the best running back in football on Sunday.
Yep. Let's talk about each individual matchup before we get up into our prediction stuff. Let's talk about the head coach matchup. Obviously, we got future Hall of Famer Andy Reid, one of the most winningest coaches in the history of the league, going up against Nick Sirianni. Who do you think has the advantage? And I know it's obvious, but is it that obvious?
Very.
Very.
So
people forget that. I understand that Pat Mahomes is who he is, but Andy Reid had Kevin Cobb looking like a pro roller.
Yeah, I think Andy Reid is
Kevin Cobb got paid mega money because of
mega money because
of like 3 games under Andy Reid.
Look, I think Andy Reid is one of the best offensive-minded coaches ever. I mean, you look at everybody he's worked with, from Brett Favre, who's a Hall of Famer, Donovan McNabb, who else? I mean, he had Alex Smith looking pretty good.
Mike Vick.
Michael Vick.
We got the best version of Michael Vick, at least in terms of passing, that we ever saw on Andy Reid.
Yeah, and I think if Mike Vick had played the way he did in Atlanta, how he did with Philly, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Well, if he hadn't
Absolutely.
lost 3 years of his career as well,
Right.
that probably,
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. It's obvious Andy Reid has the Chiefs have the advantage when it comes to head coach. But Nick Sirianni, I think, has proven that he's more than a formidable head coach. He's taken this Eagles team and really molded Jalen Hurts, and he was kind of an afterthought when they drafted him a couple years ago. They've changed. It's completely changed the narrative around Jalen Hurts based on the coaching of Nick Sirianni.
I mean, like the thing about Andy Reid, and this is kind of what killed Belichick's NFL career. It's Andy Reid's ability to adapt. Like when Andy Reid was in Philly, the game wasn't what it is now. It's like you could win a game back 20 years ago throwing for 220 yards. Like, yeah, that's a great game for an NFL quarterback in 2005. Like that's what they call. That's what they call lit it up.
They had a lot of like Brian Westbrook was on those teams. Cornell Buckhalter, like they were a running football team.
And so like it's Andy Reid's ability to, all right, this is what the game is now. Okay, I had to adapt to that, and so on and so forth. Like, not saying Nick Sirianni can't do that or he just hasn't. Like Nick Sirianni inherited the game as what it is now. So this is all Nick Sirianni knows. He only knows the game as one way, one style. And even in this culture of the game, he still kind of goes against the grain because of who he got at now, especially now because of who his running back is. So like, but it's still Andy Reid, just because Andy Reid has 100% forgotten more football than Nick Sirianni will probably ever know. So yeah, Chiefs got the advantage of head coach.
Moving into the quarterback position, we got Patrick Mahomes going up against Jalen Hurts, and this one is one of those other ones that feels obvious, but is it?
No, I don't think it's that obvious.
I don't think it's obvious.
I don't think it's obvious. I mean, yeah, it's Mahomes, but I don't think this is as deep of an advantage as people would make it.
Because the first go round, Jalen Hurts outplayed him.
Yeah, he really did.
Not even really close.
Not even close. He outplayed him.
Yeah, and he's going to come into this game on Sunday with a serious chip on his shoulder, because he felt, look, there were one or two plays he could have made, and then hell, he's bringing that Lombardi Trophy back to South Philadelphia. I mean, Mahomes has matured right before our very eyes as a quarterback. This guy wanted the home run play when he first came into the league. First year, he throws 50 touchdown passes. He adapts with the game. He keeps defenses on their toes. And then you lose Tyreek Hill. He's been able to take what a defense gives him. So the way you play Patrick Mahomes, you're keeping safeties high, you're playing coverage underneath, and you're forcing him to earn his yards underneath. We're just not going to give up the home run play down the field. And now he takes what a defense gives him. And he's mobile too. You saw what he did to Buffalo in the AFC Championship. Man coverage, 9 times out of 10, everybody's backs are turned, and who do you not account for? The quarterback. And when your back is turned and you don't account for the quarterback, he's getting those extra yards.
Yeah, I think, but Jalen Hurts is, he's really kind of evolved and adapted. So, I mean, he's been everything that Philadelphia's needed him to be at quarterback position. And they haven't asked him to win games with his arm. And it's not saying he couldn't do that. I still think the advantage is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They have, Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes is putting his name in like GOAT territory.
It's going. I mean, it depends. Like to some, like you got some out there saying, "Hey, if he gets this three-peat, he's automatically better than Brady." I don't know.
I don't know all that. Brady did it for 20 straight years.
Tom Brady had 3 Hall of Fame careers in one career. Like that's fucking unheard of.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like he had 3 Hall of Fame careers. It's unheard of what Tom Brady did. Like, and Patrick Mahomes is not. He's a victim of it too. And I've said it all the time. I say it all the time. Like, y'all got to stop trying to put current players ahead of those who have done been there, done this. Like Patrick Mahomes is still writing his book, and knock on wood, heaven forbid it gets his book ends prematurely for whatever reason, right? They tried to do it. Like they tried to put Trevor Lawrence ahead of him. Like Trevor Lawrence had one good year, and he's like, up, he's coming. Pat Mahomes. It's like, why y'all so quick to knock the crown off of somebody else's head? Like I don't get it. Like it's the revisionist history of that fans do. I just don't get it. Because Jalen Hurts could easily be like, hey man, we are one James Bradbury holding call away from beating y'all.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Moving on from there, let's talk about offensive weapons. On Kansas City side, we got Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, DeAndre Hopkins, and then Travis Kelce. If you want to mention Noah Gray as well. On the other side for the Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra, and Kenneth Gainwell, if you want to name another guy for the Philadelphia Eagles. If you had to pick the offensive weapons, who would you rather have?
Philadelphia.
Who is the advantage?
Philadelphia, because of one guy, number 26. Listen, I know it's a different sport, but Saquon Barkley's impact to the Eagles is very reminiscent of Kevin Durant's impact to Golden State that first year when he got there. He just made everything better. And what have I been saying throughout?
He made it that much easier.
What'd you say?
He just made it that much more.
That's what I'm saying.
Look,
in the
it was already easy for Golden State.
Yeah,
just made it that much more easier.
Yeah, but with Saquon's come in and he's just elevated everybody around him. Like, do you really think the Eagles would be here without him?
No,
like that's how much he's really put them. He's put them over the top. He's had the best year of his career, and look at what winning does. I mean, first year in Philadelphia, and I don't think they're NFC champions without Saquon Barkley right now.
And that's not including who they are potentially missing, right? Like you got CJ Uzoma, who is listed as I think he on IR. Brandon Grant, and we'll get to defense. Like Bretton Covey, he on IR, and it's just like, dude, like they got guys who would be starters on other teams.
Oh, you could make the same argument for Kansas City. I mean, Rashee Rice is on IR, not going to play. This guy Moore, who hasn't really done anything in the NFL, but Izzy was super high on him. Samaje P. Ryan is another guy who's a really nice change of pace running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. I agree with you guys that it's the Philadelphia Eagles, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as like it's automatically Philadelphia. I mean, they still have Travis Kelce, who's going to be wearing a gold jacket the minute 5 years after he retires. He's still an effective player, and he's still the escape valve for Patrick Mahomes, the guy he looks for in those crazy moments. I mean, this offense, yes, it's struggled this season, but this is still this offense, and it's still Andy Reid.
I understand that too, but it's so like with the addition of Saquon Barkley to Christian's point, yeah, put 8, 9 in the box if you want to.
And he's still getting around it.
And he's like, that's the crazy part. It's like put 8, 9 people in the box, because who do you trust in that secondary to go 1-on-1 for a full 60 minutes with AJ Brown and win? And win.
Devontae Smith on the other side.
Well, I mean, they have. I mean, we'll get to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Trent McDuffie might be one of the best corners in the NFL. I trust Trent McDuffie to go.
Who do you have that's going for the whole game?
Yeah, I think Trent McDuffie can go 1-on-1 for them the whole game. He's that good.
Absolutely not. AJ, like, however good you think Trent McDuffie is, AJ Brown is probably that much better.
I think it's close. I think it's close.
It's not.
It's close.
Come on,
it's
man.
Close. Trent McDuffie is an all-pro for a reason.
And then Christian's point, like, so like you really trust your DBs to be 1-on-1 with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith for the whole game?
Well, not really. I'll give you whoever Trent McDuffie's he's locking up whoever that is. Like that person will have a bad game. They'll be a non-factor. Whoever Trent McDuffie's checking in that game.
And then like so you probably gonna put what's his name? If Nick Bolton's not in the box or he's not a spy, he's likely gonna be on Goddard. Like that's the matchup to look for. Like that's that
Yeah,
matchup to look for. That's a close matchup.
I'll
I,
give me Nick Bolton all day.
that's a close matchup. Like offensively, I understand that the Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins. I'm kind of disappointed in his production with the team because it's almost like he is still there.
Yeah,
Like
I
whenever
mean, he's kind of gotten overtaken by Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster and Xavier Worthy. Like he hasn't really had the impact many people thought he'd have when they first traded for him.
it's like he is still there. Yeah, and then Saquon, like Kareem Hunt, Saquon Barkley, that's not close.
Yeah,
Like I understand the Chiefs. They like to Christian's point earlier. Like they it's death by 1,000 cuts with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a dose of Kareem Hunt. It's Pacheco coming in. It's Samaje Perine getting the third down that you need to ice the game because it's like who the hell's count like.
yep.
But that's Andy Reid. It's like, hey, they're not expecting you to be on the field or at least get the ball in this situation. It's 3rd and 5. You need 6. You're not going to go to Samaje Perine to get hey, and that's exactly what they did.
Let's move away from that. Let's talk about the offensive line. Staying on the offensive side of the ball. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So left tackle, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgensen, Mekhi Becton, Lane Johnson at right tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. And on the other side for Philadelphia, for the Kansas City Chiefs, they got Joe Thuney at left tackle, Mike Caliendo at left guard, Creed Humphrey at center, Trey Smith right guard, and Juwan Taylor at right tackle. Who has the advantage when it comes to the offensive line?
The Eagles. The Eagles. I listen. I think this has been one of the 2 best offensive lines in the National Football League, and Lane Johnson is the anchor of it. In the beginning, they had a tough time adjusting without Jason Kelce. I mean, he was the man in the middle, no pun intended, of that entire offensive line. I mean, he was the quarterback of that offensive line, the leader. Everybody kind of ran through him. You know, he was that piece that held the glue together. And early on, you could tell the Eagles missed him. But as the season went on, they progressed, and they progressed. They're physical. They're nasty up front. They pull. They can provide a clean pocket for Jalen Hurts. And, you know, they tend to all their assignments. So I'm going to say the Eagles.
I'm going Philadelphia as well. I don't think it's like as cut and dry as it was maybe last year or the year before, but like this offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles is the reason that Saquon Barkley ran for 2,000 yards. I mean, no disrespect to the Kansas City shot. Nobody on their team ran for 2,000 yards this season. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to offensive line. TJ.
They literally had to take the right tackle off the field because he got penalized. So they had to flip a right guard to right tackle because he got penalized so much. And I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think the only way the Eagles offensive line had any changes to it is if somebody got hurt.
Yep.
Like Jason Kelce he retired. And that was kind of everybody's I ain't gonna say hang up, but that was like their concern. Like it's like, how do you replace Jason Kelce? And people don't understand. Like people just like, he's just one person. It's like, no, ask the Bears how hard it was to replace Olin Kreutz when he left.
I mean, they makes all of the protection calls at the offensive line, but Cam Jurgens has stepped in and done a fantastic job.
Like it's hard, bro. Like it's absolutely hard. Yeah, give me the Eagles. Like it's like Christian said, like you don't have a guy rush for 2,000 yards, and it's not because of the offensive line.
Swinging over there, let's swing to the other side of the football. Let's talk about that defensive line. First, starting with the Philadelphia Eagles as they play a 3-4 with Milton Williams at left defensive end, Jordan Davis at nose tackle, and the beast of a human being, Jalen Carter, playing right defensive end. On the Kansas City side, they play a 4-3. George Karlaftis, Trayshawn Wharton, Chris Jones, and Mike Donna as their right defensive end. Who has the advantage when it comes to just their defensive line?
I think, wow, this is tough. I'm gonna go Kansas City because of the magic that Steve Spagnuolo works with. I mean, he knows how to dial up a call when the game is on the line better than I think any defensive coordinator that I've seen in the history of this game. Um, Chris Jones. Chris Jones is the Chiefs version of Aaron Donald. They build around him. I think Chris does his best work on the interior of the defensive line. And whenever that football game is on the line, that's when Chris Jones answers the call and makes that big play. We saw it in the AFC Championship a couple of years ago when they played Cincinnati. When you needed him to get a sack of Joe Burrow, he did it. Made a couple of big plays in their last 2 Super Bowl wins. Listen, the Chiefs don't win these Super Bowls without Chris Jones. Plain and simple. That's how important of a player I think he is to the fold. So I'm going to say Kansas City.
Let's not also forget, like, George Karlaftis has been outstanding in the playoffs and this entire season. He's really come into his own at the defensive end position. But I think I got to go Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. I'm going to go with that 3-4 on the Philadelphia Eagles side. I just think that those guys wreak so much havoc, even more so than the Kansas City side. But I think it's razor thin close. TJ.
It absolutely is. But I'm going with the Eagles. I understand, like, you got a game plan for Chris Jones and Karlaftis. I got a notification from the NFL app, and it's how do the Chiefs slow down Jalen Carter? He ain't say a damn thing about slowing down Chris Jones or Karlaftis or a Minihue or anybody on the Chiefs. It was how do the Chiefs slow down Jalen Carter? And I'm thinking, like, damn, like that, like that's how y'all. And I was waiting. I was waiting on like the flip side, because usually, like, when this time of year, it's, hey, how do we stop this guy on this team? And then they come out with a, how did this team stop this guy on the other team? And I didn't get that. I didn't get that notification. I didn't get that article. I didn't see that from the NFL Network or NFL.com or anything. It was, how do the Chiefs slow down Jalen Carter? And we saw it, right? We saw it against the Rams. They won that game because 2 plays that Jalen Carter made.
Yep, back to back, basically.
Back to back plays that Jalen Carter made, and it's a pick your poison to Davis' point. Like, that's how close this is. It's a pick your poison.
These two teams are separated by 2 sacks for the regular season. Philadelphia Eagles 15th in terms of NFL with 41 sacks for the entire regular season. Kansas City at 19th with 39 sacks for the entire season. From there, we're going to talk about them linebackers. Let's talk about first the Philadelphia Eagles side, as they got Nolan Smith Jr., Zach Bond, Oren Burks, and Joshua Sweat, who is, I think, a free agent this upcoming season. Not that it matters right now. On the other side, they got Drew Tranquill, Nick Bolton, Leo Cannell as the 4-3 linebackers for the Kansas City Chiefs. And in my opinion, as much as I think of Zach Bond and what he's done this season, Josh Sweat as an edge rusher, this has got to be the Kansas City side. Nick Bolton is the best middle linebacker, or in the conversation when it comes to best middle linebacker in the football. And Drew Tranquill is as versatile as it comes in the NFL. Give me Kansas City.
You almost disrespected Fred Warner.
I didn't. I said one of.
It's TJ. He's so damn disrespectful.
Nick Bolton is absolutely in that conversation. He is a difference maker.
Nick Bolton is extremely underrated, I feel. That much I'll give you. But yeah, I think it's Kansas City right here. I think Nick Bolton is the best run-stopping middle linebacker in the National Football League. And he's going to be key in this game on Sunday night.
All the respect to Zach Bond, though. I mean, he gets drafted by the New Orleans Saints. He's a first-round.
Zach Bond should be a dark horse for
DPOY,
the Player of the Year.
Well, but I was going to say Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, okay. If they win.
If they win, of course. But the same argument can be made for Nick Bolton. at the same time, at the same time, it's that immovable. What's that like the unstoppable force
The
versus the
immovable
immovable
object.
object.
Yeah.
So we see teams try to emulate the tush push, right? We saw them shut down Josh. Well, still in my opinion that was a first down, but it's neither here nor there. You can't go back and replay it. But on those 2 point conversions they shut it down. Right? Wasn't even, Josh Allen didn't even get close
On neither of them, really.
on neither of them. Philly's Philly's tush push is like, hey, it's we are the original. We the original. Like y'all, like so it's really gonna come up to that. Like those linebackers are gonna play a crucial role in in that element. And it's because like what Philly what Baltimore what Buffalo kept doing is like Kansas City. That's how they watch tape. Steve Spagnuolo like, hey, they like to do their tush push to the left. So we're just gonna line up everybody over there, and we're gonna stop it. Philly is like, bro, left, right, middle. It does not matter. We gonna get this. We're gonna get it. Hey, there's Izzy. How you feeling, buddy? Feeling any better?
I'm good. I'm
What's
I'm
up,
good.
man?
I just reconnected us to Facebook. My bad, David.
How your face? How your voice feeling? Is it
Thank
back?
you.
I'm
Thank you.
David. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great,
Hey,
man. I'm feeling
Christian,
great.
you should listen to the NBA show we did the other day. He was doing his best Stan Van Gundy impression,
Yeah.
bro. Like it was.
No,
Bro,
no,
it's, I gotta hear this.
I sounded like
Izzy, I
Marlon
gotta hear
Brando
this.
from The Godfather.
I gotta
I'm
hear
doing
it.
my best, Coach La
I gotta
Cosa
hear
La
it.
Nostra.
No, hey, it's better now. His voice is back now, so
Yeah.
he can do
Welcome
it
into the
now.
show, Israel
I'm,
Rivera.
I'm back, baby.
We're talking linebackers in the Super Bowl. Who do you got? Who's got the advantage?
Oh man, linebackers. I man, you know what? With no N'Kobe Dean, he's been
It's yeah,
out.
it's Kansas City.
Yeah, it's got to be Kansas City. No N'Kobe Dean. Since the middle of that Packers game. What was that? The wild card round. And they've been
Mm-hmm.
rolling out with an ex Packer. You
Oren
met?
Burks.
Yeah, Warren Burks. I ain't seen Warren Burks play this good ever. So he's playing great. Brown, but that dude Brown, he's awesome. But yeah,
Yeah, Brian.
it's gotta be. What is it? Leo Chanel. Is it? Who's the one linebacker from Wisconsin that they got? 6'6" guy. Is that Leo Chanel? Or who is that?
For Kansas City
For Kansas
or
City, yeah. And you
Uh,
also got
Hold on.
yeah, and you also got
Yeah,
who's
Leo
that?
yeah,
Chanel,
Leo Chanel, six
six
three.
three, Wisconsin. Yeah,
Yeah, and then you
40
also
solo
have
tackles.
yeah, and then you also have Nick Bolton as well, who's a monster. Just with anticipation, he might not be the biggest linebacker, but he's definitely one of the most like timely linebackers when it comes to making timely plays. And I'm sure Christian will probably allude to that maybe in his preview. I could see some that'll be Christian writing about Nick Bolton because we always talk about him. And then sideline to sideline, we already know how he
Yeah,
is.
and
So
I think an underrated guy on Kansas City to keep is Josh Uche. Like this guy gets drafted by New England, right? Has one good year in New England, then falls off. Right? He had that one 2022. He had 11 and a half sacks. Then the next year he has three.
You remember how much of a slam dunk people thought that trade was when they made it earlier this season, or was it last season?
Yeah, it was part of last season. Yeah,
Yeah, people were like, "Man, this is a slam dunk trade," and then it just never really like it was just like, okay, well,
but it's like I so like if you get that guy, it's like, hey, I know what you're capable of because like I seen you do it. So, but in the last two seasons, well, basically in the last two seasons, you've had five. You had five sacks. You don't have any sacks this year, but
just before we go to secondary, I'm gonna go quick rundown of who I think has the advantage.
go ahead.
Obviously, the first two, KC, but the second one's yeah, it's Pat Mahomes. Anyways, third, I was trying to make a little case for Jalen Hurts in the back of my head, but I couldn't. over Pat
Well,
Mahomes.
Mr. Virtuoso himself. I mean, come on.
No, no, but David, this is the thing. We gotta realize, like, man, yeah, Pat Mahomes clutch. Yeah, Pat Mahomes. It's got to be Pat Mahomes. I'm not gonna even do that. I'm not gonna do that. The third offensive weapons is got to be Philly, obviously, hands down. Saquon Barkley is gonna be the best player pretty much on the field when it comes to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Offensive line, I gotta go KC because Philly's a little banged up. We don't know what their the back situation is gonna be for their starting center. And then obviously the backup center was like he was just not game at all that last game. He couldn't even walk that last game. So definitely it's got to be the offensive line. It's got to go to KC. They got two All Pro guys. But I mean, I kind of want to say like honestly, it could be just a tie. Can I take a tie? Because I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, you can do whatever you want. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of think the offensive line just is somewhat of a tie to me. And then defensive lines clearly Philly, in my opinion. Jalen Carter is probably gonna be the most dominant on next to him and Chris Jones, obviously. But I just feel like across that line, they may be getting Brandon Graham back too. Not sure about how that's going. I haven't read any articles, but you got the three Georgia guys on that offensive line that are just wreaking havoc, especially in the playoffs. So I'm going Philly on the defensive line, and then obviously red linebacker. So that's it for me.
Moving into the secondary for the Philadelphia Eagles, we got Quayon Mitchell, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, Darius Big
Mm.
Play Slay Jr., Cooper DeJean, and on the other side, on the Kansas City Chiefs, we got Trent McDuffie, Justin Reed, Brian Cook, Jalen Watson, and Kamari Connor playing the nickel position for the Kansas City Chiefs. Izzy, who do you got when
I'm
it comes to secondary?
this is going to Philly. This is going to Philly. I mean, we talked about it last year how porous that secondary was, and they make a couple picks with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean and just completely turn around. And we talked about it when we did the draft. They completely turned around this whole secondary and how they operate. Quinyon Mitchell is a legitimate shutdown corner. I don't know what they're feeding those guys in Toledo, but it must be some good stuff because they produce a 6'3" shutdown. What I think he's 6'3", 4-3-5 running cornerback who can cover anybody and has shut down most top wide receivers in the league. And he's not going against anybody special when it comes to Kansas City, in my opinion. So I got to go Philadelphia in the secondary.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I think it's the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Trent McDuffie is the best defensive back in this game. He is an all-pro player and an excellent player. Justin Reed, same thing. Brian
Awesome.
Cook. I mean, those two safeties alone are fantastic. Trent McDuffie is the ultimate X factor. I think he is arguably the best corner in the NFL right now. Give me Kansas City. Christian.
Oh man, this is tough. I mean, both of you really make good points. Nah, I don't think Trent McDuffie is.
Is the best corner. Is he the best? Is he the best corner, or does he just play for a really good defense?
I mean, maybe, but he's been an all-pro. I mean, how, for what it's
You
worth.
can't argue with David saying he's an All Pro. That is definitely true. I mean, Steve Spagnuolo is one of the best defensive coordinators, probably the best
Ever.
defensive coordinator in the NFL. So, I mean, he's done a great job with that defense. So
I mean, look, I remember how badly this Eagles secondary was last year. They make the moves, they read Sewell, and they do everything that you want for a Vic Fangio defense. I'm gonna give the nod to Kansas City, but this one's close. This may be the closest one, in my opinion. Trent McDuffie is the reason why the Chiefs decided to get rid of L'Jarius Sneed.
he'll have problems with AJ Brown.
He was
Legit
expected.
problems.
Yeah.
Nah. Izzy Davis said McDuffie locking that shit up, bro.
I think
Boy, you
he's-
is crazy.
It's gonna be he said it's gonna be a bad. He said it's gonna be a long day at the office for AJ
It's
Brown.
gonna be.
It could be. Let's see. I mean,
Hey, that's
I
what he
don't, I don't
said
see
though,
Trent.
bro.
How big is Trent McDuffie, David?
5'11", bro.
Boy, he's getting
That boy my height.
manhandled
That
on
boy
one
my
on
height.
one. Look, I'm just saying, man. Hey, he. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. But David's right though. He says All Pro. We gotta give him that. We gotta give him that. And there's how many All Pros are on Philly secondary?
None.
Is there none?
I mean, is
Is
CJ Gardner
Quinyon Mitchell
Johnson?
even
Like you talking about like this season
this
or like
season? Yeah, this season. I
that's
don't
a
think
quick
any are
Yeah,
that's
All
a
Pro.
quick
I mean, I think
that's
CJ
a
Gardner
quick Google
Johnson
search.
may have been a All Pro at one point in his career. I don't think he was this season.
Man, I'm telling you, but they
But
big, and they can tackle. They're physical. That's what I like. And I just when I look at the secondary matchup, TJ, I look at the other side, right? Who in Kansas City is going to scare me? Outside of Travis Kelsey, Hollywood Brown, you got the kid from Texas. You have you know, what's his name? Juju Smith Schuster.
Juju.
whatever's left of DeAndre
Whatever's
Hopkins.
left with Justin Watson. Like the Eagles secondary have a clear advantage just because of the lack of weapons on the outside. Oh, I
Cooper
forgot
De,
DeAndre with godly um anyways. But
DeAndre
yeah,
Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins, D Hop.
Well, is he?
Yeah.
So Cooper DeJean was an All Pro this. Wait, was
Isn't
he?
it? It's the gene.
DeJean, same thing. Y'all know who he's talking. The white
He
boy.
was an
The
all pro
white boy.
in special teams.
Uh, unless I'm reading the wrong thing.
Yeah. I just look at it, TJ, from the secondary standpoint of the
Oh
lack
no,
of
this is
weapons on the outside that Kansas
no,
City
this
got
ain't the case.
versus the stout secondary that Philly's got versus the offensive firepower that Philly has going up against Kansas City's secondary. Kansas City secondary is going to have a tougher task trying to stop those offensive weapons in this Super Bowl compared to Philly stopping those guys on the outside. You
TJ,
get
it's
what
your
I'm
turn.
saying? Go ahead.
What we got secondary?
Yeah.
Um, because of they, and it's really just two of them. Like Darius Slay is very prone to getting got because like he tries to live up to that moniker, big play Slay, just a little bit too much. Like he gets caught. What's that term? Is it? He gets caught looking in the backfield.
He gets hands in the cookie jar.
No, like he
Yeah.
he tried to make a play, like he tried to jump around. Then all of a sudden, you look
50,
behind you. It's somebody
50,
behind you.
50, 50 to the house. 50 to the
And
house.
50, yeah, hey, over with 50.
He looking at the back of he looking at the back of names. He looking at the
Right.
names and
But at the same time, like to Izzy's point, like to add the young guys to the team that they have in Philly, the Quinyon Mitchell comes in day one. Day one, it's like, hey, I'm him. Like
yeah.
everybody wants to kill these small schools. Everybody want like we trying to tell y'all, we stay telling y'all, look under the rock. Just because he ain't go to an Alabama or Georgia or a program like that, like bruh, these quote unquote smaller schools, hey, when they upset the bigger schools, it's not by accident. It don't just it ain't no luck. It ain't none of that. So Quinyon Mitchell coming in, locking shit up is beautiful. Cooper De, Cooper DeJean doing what he does. It's beautiful. Reed Blankenship coming into his own. It's beautiful. It's if you're Philly, like yo, you couldn't have asked for a smoother transition than what you got.
Hmm.
And it's I gotta go with Philly. I mean, like, yeah, Trick McDuffie is like he cold. Don't get me, but again,
It's the athleticism
it's
between the two kid, the Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. They're just so athletic. They're so fast. They're powerful. They can hit. Like they're like little game changers from day one on that defense. In the secondary, they've literally 180-degree turned
and then
that whole secondary
not
around.
and then not just that.
Two
Izzy is
rookies.
Then and not just that, it's Avonte Maddox on the second string. It's Isaiah Rogers on the second string. It's Sidney Brown from
I
Illinois on the
forgot about
second.
Sidney Brown.
Keely Ringo, Bryce Hunt, like bro, like they
Him
got
too.
dudes.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys. They got a lot of depth there.
They got man.
So from the secondary, let's swing to that X factor position. Kind of, we talk about special teams. For the Philadelphia Eagles, they have Jake Elliott as their kicker. Brandon Mann is their punter. Cooper Eugene is their punt returner. Isaiah Rogers is their kick returner, and Rick Lovato is their long snapper.
Who no
we
one
gotta give
cares
some.
about.
We gotta
Who
give
knows?
some love to the long snappers. Come on. On the
Who
other
knows?
side of the Kansas City Chiefs, Harrison Butker, Matt Ariza, and was it Nico Remingo is their punt returner, and Nico Remingo is also their kick returner, and Mr. James Winchester is their long snapper.
You said giving love to the long snappers.
Man.
I ain't doing all that. Anyway,
Harrison Butker.
It's, I think on this case it's Kansas City for the simple fact
Yes.
that Harrison Butker is more trustworthy
The
than
Jake Elliott.
And Jake Elliott has had a rough season kicking from over 50
He's
yards.
definitely had a rough season. I can't trust him with you know, freaking a dollar.
and that's crazy considering the season that Harrison Butker had, especially when he caught scrutiny for the stuff that he said at that
And then
Christian
he got
college
and then he got hurt.
graduation.
And then he got hurt.
And then he got hurt.
He missed like a month and a half of the season.
And it's like so like that's crazy, and that's kind of where like the little discourse for the Kansas City Chiefs came, because it's like, oh y'all, and I understand that it's almost like, hey, we're supporting the guy, not what he said. But it's like you kind of can't do that, but I get it. But yeah, special teams wise, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, because you also got what's his name, Matt Arazia, who went through his own personal ordeal in Buffalo, got vindicated. Kansas City picked him up, and he's been like, "Hey, I'm not going to disappoint you. I'm not going to let you down."
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, he's been a pretty good punter for the.
He's been a pretty good punter for them. So I think because of Harrison Butker's, like, I don't even know what's his what's his long, like Harrison Butker.
I don't know,
That's
but
definitely close to 60.
Is it?
yeah, his long as
Yeah.
for the season, it's long as 53. His long for his career is
Like 58.
50? Is it 58?
62 is his long for the
62.
Okay, so yeah, like so if you're Kansas City and it's like, hey, if you need us, it's probably not going to come down to this. Hopefully it doesn't. If you need a 50-yarder from Harrison Butker to tie the game or extend it or whatever,
I will say Jake Elliott's long for his career is 61 yards. But anyways,
dude, no, I couldn't trust him with
like
bucket
this
of water put on
season,
fire, bro.
no, of course not this season. His long this season was just 50 yards.
I can't trust Jake Elliott for nothing. You know, look, I'm going Kansas City. That we've seen plenty of games with him where they're playing punter Matt Ariza, man. He's flipped the field so well this year. And then Harrison Butker's a reliable kicker. Outside of like in the AFC, I mean Justin Tucker,
That's the kicker I want. I want him over.
Yeah, I want Harrison Butker. If it's Justin Tucker, and if I gotta go with another kicker that's super reliable in the NFL now these days, I gotta go Harrison Butker.
I'm going Harrison Butker regardless of whoever's on the other. Like Justin Tucker's kind of lost something for me this season, given how he kicked.
I feel that, David. I feel that.
Not to mention all the other stuff that we're not going to talk about here on the
show. That we're just now finding out,
David. I'm just saying over the years. We've labeled Justin Tucker as the most clutch kicker in the NFL, but we gotta give Harrison Butker more love than what he's gotten.
Izzy.
Oh, Chris,
he got some catching up to do. Like Justin Tucker for his career is the most accurate kicker.
Not anymore.
Ever.
He lost that mantle to and Eddie Pinheiro. Actually, is the most accurate kicker of all time now.
You lying, David? You lying?
No, I'm serious.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Eddie Pinheiro is the most accurate kicker in the history of the league. Christian, special teams. Talk to me.
Ridiculous, dude.
It's Kansas City. I trust Stevie Wonder driving me home more than I do Jake Elliott.
There you go. That's a great one.
To the second to last question, let's talk about the fan bases. Who do you think has the advantage when it comes to the fan bases? Is it the Kansas City Chiefs with the Philadelphia Eagles. Christian, you have the
Ain't
floor.
gonna be a lot of them there.
It's the Eagles because a lot of these Chiefs fans are bandwagon jumpers.
Woo!
Baby, on
Talk
baby,
on it. Talk
on
on it.
baby.
Talk
Listen,
on it.
Preach,
listen.
church.
If you weren't there when it was Trent Green and
Priest Holmes.
Tony Gonzalez, who I think is the greatest tight end to do it, or Brody Croyle,
Brody Croyle.
even with Alex.
What about? No,
What
no,
a
hold on. I'll go way
name.
back.
What a
Christian
name.
Elvis. What about Elvis Gerbach?
Elvis Gerbach, man.
What a
Elvis
name.
Gerbach. Let's go.
Listen. I can't stand the city of Philadelphia. Like they're up there with the Raiders. Like seriously. But Eagle fans show out. I'm gonna tell you guys a very quick story. A couple years ago, I was over by MetLife because there's a mall over by MetLife called the American Dream, and the Eagles were playing the Giants, and you saw a lot of fans coming over from the stadium, like to get food and everything. And a majority of the fans were Eagle fans. I mean, yeah, Eagle fans travel deep. Philly, hands down.
I'm also going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, this is a fan base that boots Santa Claus. I mean, that's all you need to say. I'm taking.
They do not believe Santa Claus in Philly.
I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm a go Philly too, for the simple fact that Chiefs fans, again, to Christian's point, it's the revisionist history. No one hated when New England was winning everything. Where have you been the past 20 years?
Right. People were hating it. People hated it.
People hated it to the umpteenth power, dude. Like no one had a problem when Tom Brady and the Patriots were winning all the time. Yes, they were. Like yes, they did. People absolutely hated it. David made it his life's mission to literally pick against Tom Brady, no matter how wrong he would be in the end. Every year, he made it his mission to be like, no, I just hate Tom Brady. I hate New England. I want them to lose. I'm picking against them. Like that was David our entire collegiate career.
And most of the time that I've been on the triangle, so like of the prime sports world, and since I started this show too, I've been wrong a lot in my life.
So it's like this notion of they just hate us. It's like no, bro. Like no, it has nothing to do. Like the fact that y'all think that the Patriots didn't get hate for winning, like, and that's another thing. Like again, that's 20 years. That's 20 years. Even when the Patriots went 10 years in between Super Bowls, they were still winning 12 games a year, bro. That's dominance. Like,
basically,
here's some other Kansas City quarterbacks for you, real quick. As long as we're rattling off some names, ready for this?
Collins,
Matt Castle, Brody Coyle, Tyler Thigpen, Chase Daniel.
Oh,
Chase Daniel. Those are way after. Those are way after.
Kyle Orton.
Oh wow. Ty Collins had a stint in Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's Eagles, and don't get me wrong. Like every fan base has their degenerates.
Tyler Polko.
Like who?
Hey, I better not hear no slander in Alex Smith though, David.
I wasn't gonna say. I didn't even say. I wasn't gonna say his name. What are you talking about?
I better not.
Let's get to the granddaddy of them all. The final question, and the one we'll leave this show on. Who is going to raise the Vince Lombardi trophy, and who do you think is going to be the Super Bowl MVP? Christian, do I think I know what's coming here, baby?
Yeah, look, David, let's
go.
Let's wrap this up for the final time, but I'm gonna need all y'all for this one.
Let's go.
Grand finale, baby. 1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 1, baby. Man, that sounded like whenever you get your family together and you try to sing happy birthday.
Yeah, we're never on. Yeah, we're not online.
Yeah, this is going to be obviously the final game preview of the year. With the Super Bowl, I always break it down into 2 pieces. I will be doing the written preview on Friday, but Sunday, an hour and 30 minutes before the game, I will be recording a video with a little bit more analysis, my X factors, my keys to the game, my winner, and who I have winning Super Bowl 59. So be on the lookout for that. And these three gentlemen will be tagged in the video as well.
And you can find that on the dailyblitz.blog. Izzy, who's winning the Super Bowl?
All right, guys. Well, I've come out, a lot of. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. I'm the token Green Bay Packer fan on this. I'm the only
The
Green Bay
token.
Packer
Only
fan.
token, only.
The
What?
only Green Bay Packer fan. And so let me tell you guys, the
Wait,
fan base.
Christian is the only Giants fan. What is your
The
point?
fan base, the fan base, the fan base does not want to see Kansas City win this Super Bowl. They would rather prefer Philadelphia, who defeated them in the wild card, to win this Super Bowl. And I'm not like other Packer fans. I do want to see history. I want to see a three-peat. I do
Mm,
want to see one. But I think this is a bad matchup for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think there's too many playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. Saquon Barkley being numero uno
no.
on that side of the ball. And if we saw last week what James Cook did to them, well, they better, or 2 weeks ago, they better get their duckies in order, because Saquon Barkley, with 2 weeks of rest,
It's
healthier
better
than
than James
ever,
Cook.
is going to be another something else. So you better tone that defense up, because he can go for 203 touchdowns and break your back in the end. I'm actually gonna go with Philly and total points. I know it might be a little high for everybody, but I'm going to go total points, 67 and a half total points on the game.
I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs. I've learned my lesson during the Tom Brady era of football. You just don't bet against these guys. Like, they just win. Like, there's a crazy stat. Like in scenarios, I think in playoff games where Patrick Mahomes needs to have a drive in order to either tie the game or take the lead, to force overtime or win the
They
game.
get a call to help him.
Maybe, but he's 7 of 7 in those scenarios. Nobody in the history of the league has more than like half. Like his percentage of those is insane. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. I think if they go to the Super Bowl, they're gonna win the Super Bowl. I'm taking Kansas City. I just can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. He's this era's GOAT, and like until somebody can take him down, I'm not betting against him. I'm not going to make the mistake I made with Tom Brady for 20 years of my life. I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes, and I think he will be. Actually, I think Chris Jones is actually going to be the Super Bowl MVP. TJ.
I can, and I am. I'm going with the Eagles. This might be some slight hater shit, just a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be, and David, I will give you that credit, because like when you did pick against Tom Brady, it was literally just purely out of spite. It was 100% pure hate, Christian. Like, he's just like, I'm picking against him just like for the sole simple reason that he just hated it.
Damn, David, it was like that.
It was like that, bro.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a really big Peyton Manning fan, and like the fact that like Tom Brady was just kind of bamboozle Peyton Manning all the time. Like, yeah, I have a hate. I'm a hater. You know this, Christian. I'm a hater. You know this.
Christian, bro. It was like that, bro. Like,
hold on. I have an important question for David. The 2011-2012 Super Bowl, Giants Patriots. Who'd you pick?
I don't. Maybe I picked the Giants. I don't remember. I mean, I think that's even before we started like doing podcasts. That's way before, because we're talking like 2016, 2015 that we stared doing podcasts together. That's
really got to know each other.
Yeah, 10 years, like for real. So I don't know what I picked in 2011. I was doing whatever at that time.
I'm going with the Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles. Now obviously I'm not expecting Saquon Barkley to take the first play of the game 70 yards to the house.
I expect him to take his last carry to the house though, like he did against Washington. But am I expecting him to break one? Yeah.
He only needs 30 yards to break the all-time record for rushing yards in a season.
Oh, he's
gonna get that.
He's breaking that in the first quarter.
But at the same
maybe his
time,
first carry.
but at the same time, like again, like I understand Spagnuolo is a genius and all the other stuff. So, but it's like when you play the Philadelphia Eagles, it's how do you play them? Like you can't overload the box because Jalen Hurts, he has gotten that good as a passer to it's like, all right, I can recognize one-on-one coverage and I trust my guy more than I fear the other guy. So
I think the guy we really need to talk about is Jalen Carter.
Oh yeah, I said
We
I
that.
think
did.
We did.
Jalen Carter is going to be living in the backfield in this game. I think Pat
And
Mahomes is going to really be running like a chicken with his head cut off because Jalen Carter is going to bring that much pressure.
So to David's point, like Chris Jones could win Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Carter could win Super Bowl MVP, Jordan Davis could win Super Bowl MVP, Zach Baum is my dark horse to win Super Bowl MVP. This notion of just because like this team won, therefore Super Bowl MVP is the quarterback. I hate that. I've always hated that. Damian Williams should have a Super Bowl MVP on his mantle. They gave it to Pat Mahomes for whatever reason. He was awful in that Super Bowl against. Well, I didn't say he was awful, but he didn't deserve it.
I mean, D'Angelo Williams had 2 rushing touchdowns in that game. It changed the course of that game.
It changed the course. I'm going with the Eagles to win Super Bowl 59. I think they learned from their mistakes, and I think Vic Fangio was tired of all this love that Spagnuolo's getting. Vic Fangio's like, God damn it, I'm a genius too. Y'all gonna put some respect on my name.
Man, he revolutionized that Eagles defense completely. Like you bring in one guy and changes the defense entirely. But that's been our Super Bowl 59 preview. Thank you very much for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David Huffman. Right there is Israel Rivera from the Daily Blitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson, and my co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. Keep an eye out for all the stuff we do at Prime Sports World, including tomorrow. We're going to be breaking down the NBA trade deadline the day before that goes official. You don't want to miss any of that content, so please like, share, and subscribe.
And be on the lookout. It might be a 3-team deal with the Suns, the Heat, and the Warriors.
Interesting.
We'll see.
Hey, whoa, TJ. Speaking of that, I'm only one team short of that. Remember, hey, Stacey King, David, you know that Stacey King retweeted my damn tweet, and he was like, "Oh, that makes sense." Woo. I'm only one team short, and that's the Lakers. But I've got all 3 of those teams. I think Bill's going to the Heat, and Jimmy's going to the Suns. That's what it's basically going to be about, right?
Poor
We'll
Jimmy.
We'll see. We will see.
He just go home early.
We will be breaking down all that stuff tomorrow, so keep an eye out for all that content. You guys all have a good night. And gentlemen, what we do here at Prime Sports World?
We bring
the heat, baby.
Yes,
all
sir.
Right.
We'll be back here tomorrow. You all have a good night.
Like to watch the what?
A quick message from our sponsor at the Huddle Sports Network. You can find that on your Roku-enabled devices. Y'all have a good night and stay safe out there. Peace out.
Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.